Alrighty, so I have done a lot of iPhone filmmaking videos here on this channel. However, I think it's time we talk about something that I imagine is equally as important to most iPhone users. Today, we're talking iPhone photography. So this is some of the purest water you can get, like, anywhere. So all you do is come over here, you just try to put your cup out in the middle. And then you have some seriously pure water from the spring. It's good. It's cold too, like really cold. I don't know why I'm vlogging this, but you know. See what's up this way. Oh man, it's so beautiful up here. Never been up this way. It's probably a cool spot to film somewhere. Whoa. Would you look at that? All right, so maybe it's just because I've been getting into photography more and more lately that I'm making this video. However, I do think if you're doing videography or you're a cinematographer of any kind, that you should also be doing photography. While the two are different, they complement each other in many, many ways that when you're doing both, doing one will actually make you better at the other. I feel like I say this a lot, but just because you're using a phone to take photos doesn't mean you can throw all the normal photography techniques out the window. Things like camera settings, rule of thirds, leading lines, all those things you still need to be taking into consideration and practicing. If you're not, then you shouldn't expect to get good results. Your phone is a camera, you gotta treat it like one. Now, on a similar note to composition, another thing you can do to instantly improve your photos is while everyone else is going to be holding their camera up as high as they possibly can, you lower the camera and shoot up. This is going to instantly look more professional. Another bonus to this is that if there's a lot of people around, maybe you're in a crowd and you're trying to take a photo of somebody, and you don't want all those other people in the crowd, instead of trying to Photoshop them all out later, which is just a pain, you can lower the camera and that'll get everybody else out of the photo. You can just get a shot of them, or if there's other objects in the background, or you know, whatever it is. But the point is that you can get a shot of just your subject without anything else around. That's just a little bonus. Another thing you can do is use foreground. Shooting through things isn't something that crosses the mind of anyone but a photographer. If you can learn how to shoot through things with an iPhone, use foreground with an iPhone. Most of the time, no one's gonna be able to tell it was a phone. Next, we have lighting. This one is so overlooked in film and photography, which is kind of ironic because I think it's the most important. Things like backlighting, time of day, weather, all contribute to how good your image is going to look. I have a whole video on lighting already, so I'll link that at the end of this video, but I also wanted to mention one thing about the lighting piece is that your exposure. This is one of those key camera settings that you're gonna need to know. I do talk about this in my settings video, but I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate for you right now how to properly expose your image. Open up your camera. There's my nice setup. All right, so if I was gonna take a picture of just the forest around me here, you'll notice it's kind of overexposed right there. So I'm gonna tap and drag down on that little slider until it's exposed properly. Or if I was over here, that's a little overexposed. Another thing you do have to remember here though is that the square you're selecting here is also the focus, not just the exposure. So you do have to balance that, otherwise you could end up with, something like this. Exposed right, except the camera's out of focus. So just be aware of that. Above 12,000 feet right now, heading up to the Continental Divide. It's really windy. But yeah, it's beautiful up here. And look at that. It's amazing. The native camera app like I've been using for this entire video, or do you need a manual control app like the Moment Pro camera app, for example? And I think that depends on really whether you need that manual control or not. I like to have the manual mode for certain things, like maybe if I'm shooting water and I want a slower shutter speed to get some more motion blur and that kind of smoothness to it. And when I'm shooting with my actual camera, I'm always full manual. However, with the iPhone, I feel like if you can't shoot with the native camera app, you're losing one of the biggest advantages of shooting with an iPhone, and that's just the speed and convenience of it. So if there's certain types of photos, like the water stuff for example, that you're wanting those manual controls for, the Moment Pro camera app might be for you. But if you're not needing those manual controls, then I would just learn how to use and get the most out of the native camera app, as that is going to be the fastest, most convenient, and honestly, even if you have the Moment camera app, you're still gonna end up using the native camera app most of the time because it is faster. So it may be for some people, but it's definitely not necessary for everyone. The one thing I absolutely do not like about shooting with an iPhone is the telephoto lens. The quality is just not good enough for pretty much anything. Thankfully, Moment has solved this problem with their telephoto lens, which I absolutely love using. Let's see if I can get it to focus on here. So now you can get tighter shots, portraits, and all those kind of shots while maintaining the best quality of the best lens on your phone. By the way, Moment is not sponsoring this video. There is no sponsor of this video. I'm the sponsor of this video. I just love Moment's products and wanted to tell you guys about it. Before we get to the last tip, I want to build on something that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Not every photo you take needs to be amazing, and not every hobby you have has to make money. I find that having hobbies, even seemingly unrelated to your main creative work, often have a bigger impact and make you better at your main passion than you realize. Being a photographer can let you capture memories from a unique perspective. One that those with you probably wouldn't see. Being able to use your creativity to bless others can be extremely fulfilling. and it's one of the things that I loved most about this trip. Not every shot you take has to be amazing, but they all can be meaningful. Alright, so the last tip I'm going to give here would be to actually edit the photos and not just take them. That's probably going to be the next video I'll make. I've been planning to make a video on editing photos for quite a while now, so that's a bit overdue. So make sure to subscribe if you would like to see that video. I'll link some of the other videos I mentioned throughout this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do all of the things that YouTubers tell you to do at the end of videos. And until next time, make it epic.